Bateman Resources Limited is a gold exploration company with significant projects in British Columbia and the Yukon. Trading on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol ABN, and the OTCQB, symbol ABNAF. Surrounded by world-class gold deposits and mines, Bateman's 23,000 hectares Forest Kerr Gold Project is located in the heart of the Golden Triangle in northwestern BC. For more information, visit us at batemanresources.com.
Welcome to the Goddard Report. Comments made on the Goddard Report and TalkDigitalNetwork.com are an expression of opinion only. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest is Jordan Bateman, Vice President of Communications and Marketing for the Independent Contractors and Business Association in BC. His website, icba.ca. Welcome back to the show, Jordan.
Thanks for having me, Jim.
Jordan, as a second wave of COVID hits North America, how has the construction business in BC dealt with it, and has it been hit hard or hit at all?
Well, so far, and I guess I should be knocking on wood, it has not been hit that hard. Look, this is a virus that we now know transmits indoors among kind of close or intimate friends, often sharing food. Construction is none of those things. Construction generally happens outdoors, done by people who are very adept in understanding of safety measures, because, you know, if they don't work safely, it's their life and limbs on the line, so they have a vested interest in working safely. Companies that understand safety regulations and safety protocols, often on big sites that have dedicated safety officers. So we have all these layers of protection in the construction industry, and it's really paid off. I haven't checked the WorkSafe BC stats this week, but as of last week, there still was only one case of COVID that was judged to have been caught on a construction site. And that's for an industry that's been going nonstop for 8 months. It never stopped in the March shutdown. It was allowed to continue on, and it's been continuing on safely. So, you know, there are construction workers in British Columbia who have COVID, but they are not contracting it at work. They're not contracting it on work sites. They're getting it through community spread, much like many other people. So we've been fortunate, and, you know, construction, we take this very seriously. When Dr. Henry came out with those new set of rules for the Lower Mainland last weekend, all of the construction associations had messages out to their members. WorkSafe BC continues to inspect, and just kind of constantly reminding people, like, don't get lax, don't get lazy. These are important things to continue on. You wouldn't go onto a work site without a hard hat. It wouldn't feel right. You would know something was wrong, and you'd be putting yourself at risk. Don't get lax in your COVID preparations or carefulness either. You know, still do your temperature, still do your health checks, still stay home when you're feeling symptoms, still wear your mask wherever possible. That's the message that's really gotten out, and it's certainly resounded in the construction industry. We feel very grateful to the workers and the employers for the seriousness they're giving this issue.
Yes. Now, going into the new year, you were concerned that there was a lack of contracts because we didn't know what was going to be going on with the economy. Is it important, if government is planning to put out infrastructure, that they get those plans into place now so that the construction companies can plan for it and have the personnel on hand?
Yeah, exactly. That is a big concern, and one of the big problems with the current funding crunch for municipalities is that they are slowing down their budgeting process. So a lot of times municipalities in recent years would try to get their budgeting done early. By law, they have an annual budget that runs through, January 1st to December 31st, but you don't have to pass that budget until as late as May of that current year. But lots of municipalities found that if they came out early and ratified their budget in October and November, they could let contracts before the big the mouse in the snake belly kind of went through the system. They could get out there before everyone else was out there and get favorable bids. That has slowed down a little bit this year, and it's slowed down for a number of reasons. First of all, the federal government and the provincial government have been vague about what future supports are going to be for municipalities. Second, municipalities are extremely cash-strapped and people-strapped. Some have furloughed workers. Others still have folks working at home. There is a productivity dip when that happens on multi-user things like massive budgets. So, you have that. You have the provincial election kind of caused some consternation. a number of municipalities had candidates on councils or school boards running for office at a higher level. So all those things have kind of slowed down the budgeting process. And that's unfortunate because we're heading into 2021, and we think there'll be a lot of projects that will come through tendering, but we haven't seen that big push yet. So a lot of our companies are kind of waiting with bated breath, ready to bid, ready to put in very competitive bids, and ready to work in 2021. We just need the tenders to go out.
What kind of jobs do you think could be done in this kind of situation?
Well, I think that the provincial government's going to put more emphasis on healthcare, which makes sense. I think that for municipalities, I'd be surprised if any municipality does anything huge. Like it would surprise me to see a rec center go out for a tender, or a big swimming pool, or a big police station. I think it's going to be more maintenance and small projects. That road that needs to be upgraded, those bike lanes that need to be put in, kind of those more modest civil things. But maybe they do a bunch more of those because they don't do the big project. I could be wrong. There could be municipalities, and I'm sure there will be, that will still do the massive project. But generally, in this economic climate, I get the sense that a lot of governments just want to slow play that a little bit to make sure that things bounce back post-vaccine.
In New Westminster, I've noticed they're slowly replacing the wooden boardwalk that's 30, 40 years old, and it makes sense. We had part of it burned down at one end of the city, and it's because it had old timbers, which burned terrifically well, and perhaps the new, I don't know, does pressure-treated wood burn as well as creosote? That's a question I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not a wood expert. I would say that a lot of innovation has come around mass timber projects. There's a beautiful facility going up in Squamish. It's a company that makes custom wood furniture. So this company said, we're moving into the industrial park in Squamish, but we don't want to look like every other industrial building. We want to showcase for wood, so that when our clients come in to order their high-end kitchens for their place in Whistler, their chalets, they gasp, like, oh, this is what wood could do. So they went with the mass timber option. It's being built by a great company named Kindred Construction, and it's beautiful. I mean, I've done 20 site tours this year during the COVID period, taking a look at various projects that ICB members are building and COVID safety precautions and other things. That's the one that I'll always remember, is this little, industrial park with all these tilt-up concrete buildings like you see in every industrial park, and then all of a sudden this gorgeous wood building with a beautiful view of the mountains around Squamish. There's a lot of technological advancement in construction. It's happening at not quite the rapid pace as happening in other industries, but more and more you're going to see that mass timber used. You're going to see a lot of those kind of renewable products phased into the way we build larger buildings.
Well, I've always wondered, why does an industrial building have to look industrial? I've looked at factories they've built in Spain, and they look like works of art. And I've asked around, did it cost anything more? And they said, no, when you design something, you pay architects and designers and industrial plant people, and then they just get together. Well, does it have to be a square cindercrete block building? And they go, no, you can actually make, storage areas look like little turbines and stuff that are different colors. I'm thinking of perhaps maybe the buildings there at Red Square in Moscow. But they've done these incredible things in Spain, and they say that's a cement plant. And it looks like a place that would be cranking out Salvador Dali paintings instead. And it didn't cost much more or any more than just a regular plant. They just said it's the attitude you go into it with. Is that something that we should encourage? And it probably would be good for the economy. You have more design into things.
Yeah, it should be encouraged.
And 3D printing could do it.
Yeah, a lot of these things, form follows function. And so if a building owner looks at it as a warehouse, they don't want to put in a lot more effort than that. But, form follows function for these custom kitchen creators, and it made sense then. Okay, no, if we want to showcase. This is going to be a showcase for folks coming in. We need to make sure that the entire building tells the story of our company the way we want it told. Amazon's an interesting one, right? So Amazon's building huge fulfillment centers and distribution centers all over the world, and in the Lower Mainland is no different. There's one going into Campbell Heights Industrial Area in Surrey. And, for them, the form is, okay, we've got to have a building that can hold 75, 85, 100 trucks, 100 Strider vans that they can get packed overnight and then kind of come back and forth throughout the day. And it's not a pretty building on the outside, but on the inside, they've gone above and beyond to try to make it comfortable for the staff working there. They've done research and they found that a huge percentage of their staff are Muslim. And I guess there is a tradition, and forgive me to our Muslim listeners if I butcher this, but there's a tradition that for certain periods of the year, folks have to wash their feet every time they come inside. So what they've done is they've created basically a room with foot showers. This little trough, and you can kind of go in there and you wash your feet. Because what they found is that at other distribution centers in the Lower Mainland, these folks were gathering around a garden hose outside the building. And so it's just little things like that make a huge difference. They have a mother's room in that building. They have a beautiful .com lounge with video games and concession machine or vending machines and things like that. Just little things that they've done to try to make their workers more comfortable, to attract them and keep them. And so we're seeing in North America kind of a shift now towards that. And I think you're right. The next step is looking at the outside of the building and how can we design this in a way that is attractive, that tells the story of our company, and is almost a promotional tool for all the different things that we do. And
there's art students who would be glad to help them out. When I was taking website design at BCIT, we designed some corporate sites free of charge, for the experience. But because you had so many different artistic minds working on it, they ended up with some pretty beautiful products that are still being used 10 years later. And I'm thinking about students at Emily Carr or taking art at UBC. They would gladly take on a project like that, and we'll beautify your building and make it terrific, and it didn't cost you anything.
Yeah, it's a great option and a good way of introducing young people to what you're doing. And there'll be different things. There's sign bylaws and nonsense like that, but all those, if it's beautiful, generally councils will find a way to work with it. Yeah,
what if your building spells out Amazon? What are you going to do about that? I mean, it's the design of the actual building. Try fighting that.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. There'll be there's lots of chances to do more with less.
We'll have more with Jordan Bateman right after this.
Engineer Gold Mines is focused on the exploration and development of the historic high-grade Engineer Gold Mine situated 32 kilometers southwest of Atlan, British Columbia. Engineer Gold Mines is fully permitted for surface and underground exploration with the drill program now underway. Engineer Gold Mines Limited trades on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol EAU. For more information, please visit us at engineergoldmines.com.
Value from success. Growth in discovery. Golden Arrow Resources is a well-funded gold-copper exploration company with proven management and prospective properties in Chile, Argentina, and Paraguay. Golden Arrow trades on the Toronto Venture Exchange, symbol GRG, on Frankfurt, symbol G6A, and the OTCQB, symbol GARWF. For more information, visit us at goldenarrowresources.com or call Sean at 778-686-0135.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Jordan Bateman. Jordan, is the Contractors Association worried that the city of Vancouver might bring in its mobility pricing model, which apparently they don't even have the legislative ability to do, where they'll charge vehicles going in and out of the core of the city $6 or $7 one way?
Yeah, we're very concerned about this. The solution to affordability in the Lower Mainland isn't to continue to add more taxes and find new ways to gouge drivers and homeowners. We're concerned about it in a number of ways. First of all, we believe in a strong economy. Strong economies create businesses that build stuff. Obviously, contractors build things. So we want a strong economy. you want to crater an economy, bring in a charge just to go in and enter that area. What makes Vancouver think it's so special that it deserves that, the rest of us should have to pay to get into it, is beyond me. And if I were owning a small business there, already paying sky-high rents, already paying sky-high property taxes, and seeing my business struggle because COVID and other economic conditions, I would be outraged. I'd be, leading the charge on City Hall to try to fight this thing, because it is just going to drive more customers away. It is already so difficult for anyone to get downtown. And right now it's not a big deal because, the Canucks aren't playing, so I don't need to go to Rogers Arena. The BC Lions aren't playing, so I don't need to go to BC Place. Most businesses now have decentralized. Christmas market's canceled, so I don't need to go there. So yeah, okay, that's great, but why are you discouraging customers? What is it about suburbanites' money that the mayor of Vancouver doesn't seem to want his businesses to get? It drives me crazy. It's another cost. It'll drive up the cost of doing everything in Vancouver. Contractors will have to pass that cost on to, the builders. The builders will have to pass that on to the end customers. It just goes around and around and around. It's another very short-sighted idea. Now, it's an NDP mayor of Vancouver suggesting it and championing it. We have an NDP premier in Victoria who claims that he believes in a toll-free BC, but he has not shot down this idea yet. So we're all waiting to see if John Horgan actually stops the mayor from doing this.
Also, too, I understand individual trips. Again, the city manager who suggested this makes well over $300,000 a year. Perhaps he's got a really nice high-tech bike. What if you live in the burbs and you need to come in and see a doctor, and he'll say that's a one-time charge, but it's still $12 out of my pocket. If you're a pensioner, it's not affordable. Not everybody can walk or bike physically. So if you have some kind of a disability, you're at a disadvantage there. And it also basically says the core of Vancouver is verboten territory. Did not come here. It doesn't seem like this is the way a tourist city should be acting.
No, exactly. It is tone deaf. It's stupid. There's no other way around it. It's just stupid politics. It's a cash grab. It doesn't make any sense. There's no redeeming thing to this. Now they'll claim, climate change, blah, blah, blah. But you're exactly right. Vancouver Hospital, General Hospital, is within this zone. So you're going to charge people for, emergency visits? It doesn't make any sense. What if you live on the border between the two zones and your grocery store is on one side and you live in the other? You're going to have to pay every time you go to the grocery store down the street? It's so poorly thought out. It's one of these stupid plans that eco-activists throw around because they want to socially engineer the way everyone else lives, instead of, finding better solutions or more attractive solutions to attract people away. Finding the carrot in these situations, they always want to seem to use the stick.
Also, Vancouver's 600,000 plus people, but there's 3 million people who live in Greater Vancouver. Again, Vancouver doesn't acknowledge that they have a huge workforce that drives in every day, drives home. They don't have access to transit where they live out in the suburbs, or if they do, you have to wait an hour for the bus and then wait 2 hours for a transfer. I've heard some real horror stories. Again, they all treat Vancouver like a little isolated village on an island, and anybody else that comes to their island has to pay the price.
Yeah, 95% of Vancouver police officers don't live in that zone. Maybe more. What Vancouver cop can afford to live there. So they all live outside the zone. So you're going to charge Vancouver cops at, a rate, even if you give them a monthly rate to come down and go to work? It's crazy. The whole thing is just, like I said, it's stupid. There's no merit to it. There's no desperate need to do it. Honestly, it should be an election issue in 2022, and they should vote this bum out.
Also, too, when they said congestion with cars downtown, the biggest congestion I have found is from the bicycle lanes, because where you used to have 3 or 4 lanes of car traffic, you're now squeezed down or 1 or 2, and it can take you 45 minutes to go 3 blocks.
Yeah, exactly. The biggest, again, it's just a myth created. The bike lobby, the eco-activists, will not be happy until there are 0 cars, 0 trucks, zero combustible engines, zero electric vehicles apparently too, within Vancouver city limits. Well, that is not sustainable or fair or right or smart. And if you're going to do it, great. Kick out all of the services that the region uses, kick them outside the zone to other places. Move Rogers Arena, move the BC Lions, move Vancouver General Hospital, move St. Paul's Hospital, move them all out into the burbs so that people can get access to them. You can't have it both ways. You can't have all these services and then hoard them from people or make them so expensive that you can't access them.
Move the 2 convention centers.
Exactly. It's such a crazy idea, and it's mind-boggling that it gets any traction at all, but those are the kind of eco-activists we have running the place.
We'll have more with Jordan Bateman right after this.
Media recognition from Bloomberg, Reuters, recycling trade publications. Patented process for 100% recovery of critical metals, including cobalt, lithium, nickel, manganese, aluminum. American Manganese is focused on recycling lithium-ion batteries for electric vehicles. American Manganese trades on the TSX Venture, AMY, the US, AMYZF, and Frankfurt 2AM. For more information, visit AmericanManganeseInc.com or phone me, Larry Ray, at 778-574-4444.
Don't miss out. Stay informed. Receive the HowStreet.com weekly recap with thought-provoking podcasts, radio, and articles delivered to your inbox. Sign up for the HowStreet.com weekly recap on our homepage at HowStreet.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Jordan Bateman. Jordan, news that there's 2 possible viable vaccines so far, and there's probably no project more worked on in the world than the development of COVID vaccines. Overall, is that good news for your business and every other business?
It's great news for every other business. Every business out there. The sooner we get a vaccine, the sooner we can start figuring out how to pull ourselves back off the mat economically. The sooner people can start making plans again, can travel again, can build again, can invest again. So yeah, the vaccine is super important. Jim, I've been super critical of Justin Trudeau on a number of issues, but I'll give him credit for this. Canada has invested in several different vaccines, making sure that whichever one's hit, we have a share of that we can make sure we can get out to our people as quickly as possible. I think I read somewhere that Canadians, we've purchased basically 10 vaccines per Canadian, just to be safe. That is actually smart. We can always, pass on the extras either through, care to third world or to other folks who aren't as fortunate. There's always different options in how to distribute extras. But, let's make sure that we get protected as quickly as possible so we can get Canada going again.
And those vaccines have to be free.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't think anyone has talked about charging for them. So, there's a story here in the future about the evil big pharma. How many years have Canadian politicians railed against big pharma? Well, guess who's coming out of the woodwork to save us now? The big pharmaceutical companies. They've amassed the greatest scientists in the world. They're working on this project day and night. And, we have a vaccine today that's still in the final stages of testing, but less than about a year since this virus first appeared, we, now have a vaccine that is 95% effective. So, yeah, let's get on with it. Let's get these things approved, make sure they're safe, of course, get them approved, and then get them out to the public as quickly as possible.
Yeah, and when you said 10 vaccines for each Canadian, reminds me of the joke. The CFL has 4 downs, not 3, but they punt on the 3rd down just to play it safe.
Yeah, that's the Canadian way.
That's the Canadian way. Jordan, thank you so much for chatting with us.
Thanks for having me.
My guest has been Jordan Bateman, Vice President of Communications and Marketing for the Independent Contractors and Business Association. His website, icba.ca. If you have any questions for Jordan or any of our other guests, you can send them to info@howstreet.com. Our YouTube channel is Talk Digital Network. Find us on Twitter @TalkDigitalNet. We're also on Facebook. I'm Jim Goddard. Thank you for listening.
Comments made on the Goddard Report and TalkDigitalNetwork.com are an expression of opinion only. The Goddard Report is available online and mobile at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. The Goddard Report is a production of How Street Media Incorporated.